so many people thought that live book club was going to be the first Monday. I think we've always said the second Monday.
I think it's always been the second.
Yeah. Somebody thought that we had changed it. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I forgot to sign up. So.
Oh.
I'm like, why didn't I get the questions?
So just to review for a moment. So you will get 2 newsletters on the 1st and the 15th of the month. And then our live book club is the second Monday of the month.
Yes.
Maybe
at 11.
I got mixed up with the first being the
first newsletter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. And then I was kind of half thinking that Brittany was going to join us. Denise did not read the book. Janet did not read the book. So far, it's the 4 of us.
I just got my notification that it's time.
That it's time. We're live. All right. So let's see. The other thing too, well, and I guess if somebody is just venturing in, we are the gals from the Fabric Patch in Ephrata, Washington. I can't imagine somebody just venturing in to find us, but we, of course, are a quilt shop. We do all kinds of videos and tutorials on YouTube. And for whatever reason, we decided to start a book club. And the deal with the book club, this is really why. It wasn't really so much for whatever reason. It's because I think that we all like to read the same things. And we share information about movies, what movies we should watch, what movies we should not watch.
Yeah.
What books we should read, what books we should not read. And so it's always kind of fun. So we started sharing
Cindy
that
always
information.
reads those ones.
I read those and say, don't read it. I know. There's been a couple lately.
It's
that,
nice to have somebody
off my list. Yeah.
keep us.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, on the straight and narrow. There was one. Gosh, I was going to try to remember for you guys today. What was the one that I finally muscled through? I might have mentioned it on FabriChat that I did finally finish it thinking it was going to get better. And it was a waste of time.
Oh, no.
And I don't think I've ever given a 2-star review before, but it was that one. I can't think of what it is at the moment, but it was terrible. But anyway, all right. So the book that we're talking about today, and we are talking live, Brianna's on the computer, so she'll be able to chitty chat and we can share our questions. But of course, what we're talking about today is The Frozen River. Many of us finished this quite some time ago. I almost feel like we had did you just finish it?
Good for you.
Oh, I feel like I need to do that because sometimes I finish it too soon.
Remember, Marjorie is a book reader. She prefers book versus audio.
And I mean, I've had it, and I had another book to read, so I got it done.
She's in 2 book clubs.
Yeah, and so then I got started. I started reading this one, and I thought, no, it was my turn to choose a book, so I thought, okay, I got to read the dumb thing first. And then, so I started reading this. I wish I hadn't have waited till the last minute to read it.
Oh.
I mean, I read through it. I spent all day Friday reading it, and I had read some of it before, but I need to get started a couple weeks ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I read it too soon, just like you, I kind of forget.
You miss things. Yeah.
I miss things, or forget them.
And whenever I read a particularly good book, I feel like I need a few days or so just to kind of process and think about it and digest
I thought I
it a
would just
little.
wait until we had this so I didn't get
all
cluttered.
lost in your head.
Who is in that book?
Yeah. Well, I think let's start with in terms of 5-star reads. I think that's the graph that the numerical system that everybody uses is 5-star. I mean, you absolutely could not put it down. Would absolutely recommend it to everybody. Potentially even read it again. So type in your numbers if we don't already have that from you. And going around, Brianna, how many stars for you?
I'd probably do a 3. It was a
No.
Okay, so my thing is, it was just so much. I don't know. I mean,
Well, there was a whole lot of.
There's a whole. I mean, and I don't know if I didn't like that. I didn't enjoy. I didn't enjoy reading it. And I think for me, it's all about, I don't have enough time to do what I want to do. Yeah. And I feel like struggling through a book that I was not enjoying and really connecting with a character, I felt like it was not for me. I mean, I loved that it was actually true and that, I mean, it's hard to know all of those years put down into like a 12-hour read. That's a whole lot to process. Mm-hmm. If it happened over the lifetime, okay, you get time to recover. There was no time for recovery. Mm-hmm. It was just bam, bam. So that was my thing.
It does make sense to me that maybe there was nobody for you to identify with in there. And the word that Brianna used off camera was rapey. So it was pretty, and there was a lot of, and there's somebody else. Let me write in here, interject. I got an email from Elizabeth Schmidbauer, maybe Elizabeth, and she liked the book, but what she said, which was kind of interesting, and maybe kind of what you're saying, she says, I'm getting disgruntled and dismayed at several of the last historical fictions I've read having such violence and disregard for women.
Yeah. I mean, I get the time era.
Right. And that's what I would say is that was what it was. I mean, I think that we've only been allowed to vote since the 1920s.
Yeah.
I think that to really understand how far we've come.
And this is probably soft in comparison to what it really was. Terrible.
Right. I mean, and you could have been put to death for looking at another man.
Exactly. Right. And I do agree with that. I do agree that I know it really was that horrible.
Yeah. And
that she was at least the lucky few that really could do what she wanted. And her husband trusted and believed that she could do whatever she wanted. And she was trusted in the community. Yeah. So I do think she had it better than most and was able to say the things she said without being smacked.
Really? Well, and that was why I think it was good that it went through those where she really was at risk of losing it all.
Right.
And was moments away from being raped herself, and I mean, even she's somebody who's very respected in the community. I mean, had a pretty tough time.
I agree.
Really, and had no recourse, so yeah.
So yeah, a lot of
fours.
4.5s, lots of 5s, a few 3s, a few agreed, a 3-ish, 3 in there. But for the most part, we're 3 to 5s. Yeah. Overwhelmingly 4s.
And I understand. I think that I'm the same. I'm super harsh on movies, maybe less harsh on books, but I think that I like to feel good. I like to read something that makes me happy. And this was not a feel-good, happy book. That's true. But I think most historical pieces, I mean, there's not, I mean, I liked the Tattooist of Auschwitz, but liked is a weird, I mean, it was just accurate. And I think there's things to know. So for me, I loved it. I thought that it was, I did give it a 5-star read. I would say it's in my top 3 books ever. I really, really liked it, but not that it wasn't rapey, not that it wasn't horrifying to women. And
I'm sure you could relate a whole lot. I mean, being a delivery nurse, doing the whole. I think you had a lot of character you could relate with, and even medically, people who think, "Oh, you're."
I loved Martha. I thought Martha was a pretty stand-up gal. I really liked her. I appreciate the amount of work that they went through, and I think that sometimes you think about that. It's like when I'm, whining because I have a little bit of gardening to do. At least I don't have to make candles also, right? Kill the chickens, So I mean, I don't know. I like thinking about how it used to be and understanding that history. So I really, really liked it. And I think for me too, I liked it anyway, but at the end, with the author's notes about it being real and how and even this part was real, she just changed the time. Then it even was better for me to know that it really was almost fully historically accurate. So I gave it a 5. What did you do, Tracy?
I gave it a 5. Because I really liked it too. I thought Martha was a great character, and I think that the accuracy was, as she said at the end of the story, she kind of played with it herself. But I liked that she put a soft spin on the whole time.
Well, it could have been pretty rough.
It could have been.
I think even Martha she had a mouth on her.
She did.
And I think that probably wouldn't have been really, it didn't matter if you were elevated a little bit. I think she still could have had a little,
Yeah, she was very brazen.
But I thought I liked her. And, but yeah, it was a good story.
Yeah.
And I would definitely recommend it.
Definitely recommend
And so would my friend Janet from Hawaii. I have your answers.
Oh, yes.
Janet
gave it
it twice. She's already read it twice herself.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah,
totally. Yeah, she liked it.
So.
Yeah. All right, Marge, what'd you give it? No pressure. Give it whatever.
I give it a 4. And barely a 4.
Oh, okay. Tell us why.
I don't know where to start. I wish I had read the author's notes first.
I know.
That's
It
where
is
I feel like I might
actually-
be at.
But she said not to do that because it would have
Yeah.
given away too much. But you're right.
Well, maybe
Even if she
because
would've-
I thought this book was more a murder mystery with a midwife story intertwined
Sure.
and her lifestyle, what she had to go through. And yes, and I was telling Tracy this earlier, this book, she could have put 1970 instead of 1790 on here and just changed a few things, you know, about because there's really nothing about the lifestyle of what it was like, what kind of conditions you lived in, how hard or easy it was to get, food to survive. I mean, I don't know that would have been necessary to the story. It probably isn't. But yes, how women were so, I mean, I think because she was a midwife was probably the reason she got away with what she did and the fact that she was respected. But just look at women in general, how they were treated and, all the laws against their behavior.
Right.
And
Right.
I think, and I even wrote down the page, but it was that, when they went to that one trial and the 4 men that were accused of doing
Right.
different things. And then the woman who said something bad about the judge's daughter got a fine that she would never be able to pay off in her life.
Mm-hmm.
That just, that really hit home. So anyway, it's a book. I'm not going to read it again.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody asks, I'll say it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and read it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was just a little confused about, I don't know what I was confused. I read it through okay. It's not a page turner.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel it was a page turner, but I read it
Yeah.
and it was nice.
Mhm.
And the diary was special. I know that's what she's based this whole story on, but I think she could have written a modern story taking a 300-year-old diary.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Right.
sure.
And like in the granddaughter's perspective or something.
Sure.
Well, it was kind of modern day romancy.
It
my
definitely
gosh.
was.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yeah, 'cause I was thinking the same thing, that if I reread it, I want to read the author's notes first, since I've already read it and I know what's happening. I need to read that first, and then maybe I'll see it at a whole nother perspective now.
Mhm.
I
Take
think
things
I might
differently.
have, yeah. And then another thing was, this goes back. The relationship between her and her husband, was that unusual?
I think
Was
it
that
had to have
yeah.
been.
You know,
he
I mean,
was
they
really
talked
far
about-
more
He was
modern
Quite a
man.
modern fella.
He was sure was. Yeah, he was
And,
before his
and really a
time.
lot of her thinking, the slavery business and everything else, very forward thinking. And I would think that, I don't know how she got away with a lot of the things she said or thought or did. And of course, this little town had 2,000 residents in it?
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure she did. I agree with Tracy. I think that it was softened quite a bit because I think it was not like that at all. I think that women, you had better be careful how you were talking.
I mean, it was
only
How many
less
years
than-
off were we from the Salem witch trials?
Not long, like
Not long.
30 years.
Yeah,
or so.
see,
Not
yeah.
a whole lot of years
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
It's a few decades.
Yeah, Crafted by, she commented that she was a 5 and she liked it, and she was surprised how many couples married quickly and had premature babies.
Yeah.
Right.
That was one of my most surprising things is all of the sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
And
a lot of young women having babies,
There was too much to do to be doing that.
Right.
Well, but they had those special barn dances and dance
Frolics.
and frolics. So,
They were doing a whole lot more frolic.
You would think for
Nice.
such a
Nice.
Puritan
I would
society,
too. I
how
was
much
surprised
that
that
rules
was
didn't
happening.
apply.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty remarkable. And it was remarkable enough that she did talk about it at the end that, there was a lot of that going on. And,
Crazy.
but I thought that was funny. I was going to say something else. For me, you said not a page turner. For me, a lot of it was Martha. I really liked her. And I kept wanting to, it's like, oh my gosh, what did you, oh my gosh. So I was fairly invested in
Sure.
in what she was doing.
The
and what she
farther
was
I got
talking
in the
about.
book, by the time I was halfway through
Yeah.
about there, then it did become okay, I want to see what she was very sensible.
Yeah.
Go to a home with a woman, very sensible. And
Well, I was just going to say too, because her sensibility, but that she was illiterate and that she
Yes.
came, her husband taught her to read and how she really rose.
and
to
she
so
passed
many
that
women
on.
were.
Yeah. I don't think that, because they were unimportant.
Why did they need to read? Why did they need to do any of that? And one other little just side note, just for a second, is that there's still a lot of that kind of culture present in the world. Absolutely, all over the place. When Marge and I were in Turkey, we were told early on, because we went to this big, huge market in Istanbul, and no women in there. The shopkeepers and the people that helped you, all men, because women were not supposed to talk to a man about, would you like to buy this, or trusted with take the money.
Jail, honey.
Yes, I would be in jail. I would be. Well, funny story there. Little side note. We were going to early on, a couple of years after Brian and I were married. We thought we couldn't have kids, and there was an issue with women going to Saudi Arabia. That as long as you stayed on the base, they needed nurses. And so it's like, well, and if we were going to go, it was going to be like this incredible amount of money for us to go. And Brian would find a job too, and they would put us up. It'd be free housing, and it was sort of one of those too good to be true amount of money to do that. And it's like, we were totally going to do it until we had our first little meeting, and they said,
"And did you say doctor abroad?" She was doing doctor abroad.
Doctor abroad, yeah. And so when they said, "Here's what you need to know: if you walk off that American base, you had better follow the culture because they can kill you. If you speak to a man." If you do something inappropriate, if you look over your shoulder at a man or whatever, they will kill you. Oh, and so I thought, I don't know if I can do
So
I better not go. Because I don't think I could. I think it's just who you are.
Yeah, there was a young woman.
You like to go.
I do. I touch everyone. I touch everyone.
There was a young woman from our community who got a nursing degree, and she went to Saudi Arabia, and she spent years there. But that same thing. If she went off, she had to dress and act just like
quiet and demure.
Yeah. But the interesting thing, she married a Saudi man, and when she got done with her tour, they live in Spokane now.
Wow.
She was never able to have children, but she was a neonatal nurse at one of the hospitals in Spokane for years. So that's she spent a lot of time with her, but she was a young single woman when she went. And I mean, I've talked a little bit. It's been a long time since I've talked to her about it, but she talked about it. She had the dress and everything else, but you had to be careful.
Oh yeah. I would not have been able to do it.
Lori said when they went to Hades on a mission that they had to wear skirts because women wearing pants were considered loose.
Oh, how funny!
Yeah.
How funny!
Because instead, let's just show your legs.
I'm pretty sure there would be long skirts.
Maybe
but
loose.
Wow.
That is funny. Pants makes you loose, but a skirt.
I know.
Right. Unless it is a long skirt, then maybe it has to be a long skirt.
I wonder about how the women here, blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's another example of men making the rules.
Yeah, I know, right?
I could flash you pretty darn quick in a skirt.
No one would see it.
I mean,
well, my problem is I always end up with it tucked in the back of my head. I don't know how many times I walked through the salon with my skirt tucked into the back.
Dang it! Dang it!
Jeez, pants are my jam.
All right, so let's talk about do the discussion guide. The first thing that we asked, and let me tell you, I printed off a bunch of your guys' responses here. I only have 5. I know that more of you guys sent me. I think that I have another stack somewhere, but I feel like I have all of your guys' comments here, or most of them. And also we're going to review potential recommendations at the end of this also. But
awesome.
Anyway, so let's kind of rapid fire through these. Not maybe rapid fire, but how did life in Hallowell in 1789 surprise you? And did the characters act as if you expected for the historical period? And I think we've already talked about what was most surprising is the amount of premarital sex, right? I think the rest of it, the way, that's the second question. What did you think of the self-sufficiency required of women in that era? How do you think you would fare? Let's ask you guys watching, how do you feel about that? And what is something that you'd like to know more about? I mean, I have to say that for me, I find that I'm super interested in medicinal properties of things that we grow and more organic, natural ways to take care of things. I love foraging. Yes. I think I trust that far more than the pharmacopoeia, and that is from somebody from the medical world. I think if I grew it and mashed it and smoked it, or not smoked it, but
why not?
Or whatever I was going to do. It's funny how many things you do, Moline.
Yeah, you do smell.
But anyway, and the other thing that I think is the candle making. And soap making.
Well, I think that's kind of coming back around, being all these people who are wanting to homestead.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, maybe not candles because people are probably going to use other forms, but still at the same time, so many people I watch online who are doing the foraging and turning the dandelion into
I feel like it's never really gone away. I think it is.
I think you're right.
I think it's just now coming back where it's something really popular and really cool. I think it's
now
really
it's a hobby or a second job, or taking something that was a
side gig.
necessity. Now it's a side gig.
Janet says, I already live that lifestyle, so pretty sure I would survive just fine.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
So I think there are people that still do it, but I think, then there are surges of, oh, hey, yeah, I should do that, because the world gets all funky and people get scared and, you think it's time to, go back to our roots. But let's keep the women up where we belong.
Yes, not out of necessity, but something that brings you joy. If you love to make candles or make soap or do those things. And that's why for me, I love to feature those businesses, the soap makers, the medicine makers. I mean, I love we have a lot in our community because, we live in a hippie community and there's a lot of really nice products. What I find about the homemade candles is I think that they burn so fast.
Sometimes.
I think so too, probably because of less chemical. In the wicks.
And the Cassie was saying, like in the book and this in question, I mean, it's if they had to. If you
they had to.
That's right.
Yeah, you had no choice.
Light.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Mary said she probably wouldn't have the skills to look back then. For example, she's never killed a live chicken. I'm with you, girl. I'll have that with me.
I'm not saying that it's
that's
something
the only part I never did. I could not kill the
you
chicken, but I cleaned hundreds.
When we had all the chickens and did that, I didn't kill them. In fact, we had it set up so Sam butchered them, and I had to eviscerate them, but I mean, you never have anything better than.
Yeah, I know.
But you guys, I could cover you there.
And I feel like with kids, I could do things.
I never killed one, but I've cleaned.
Yeah, exactly. We do what we
for our families.
Yes.
Because there's things, the whole cloth diapers with my kids. But 4 kids, oh my gosh, that's the nastiest thing I've ever seen. Why would I did cloth diapers with all 3 of them. At some points, there's just times you just have to use cloth diapers to figure out what's happening. And I had no problem. But if they were not my children, hands down, it was a no. But there's things you do for your family and your people that you would think you would never do until the time came.
Right. I think that's exactly right. And the other thing that I want to say is that I think that lifestyle is different.
Yes.
If what I had to do was stay at home, tend the garden, feed the chickens,
animals,
wash the clothes and hang the clothes out to dry, whatever. It would be different. But the fact that all of us have jobs,
get that done.
It would. But now we go to work, and we have other things that we're doing. We manage many women manage the finances at home. So there's other things that we're doing. So I do think that, I think that lifestyles are also different.
Well, it's just progression.
Yeah.
We were given a brain. And everybody has, or not everybody, but they've been used, over the years. Because when somebody decided, okay, I'm tired of making, I don't know, whatever you were doing, I'm going to invent electricity. And go on down the line. Yeah. So it happens.
Yes. Not always for the better. I think that phones, having that little mini computer with you all the time, is not so great. Not so great for the kids.
Okay, take it away.
Okay, so the third one, this was pretty, I don't even know why I put it in there. Favorite character, everybody hands down in terms
I
of
think
all of ours is
Martha.
Martha,
Yeah.
of course. And least favorite was, of course, Rapist. What was his name?
Burgess,
North.
something. Burgess.
Burgess was the one that
Well, he got murdered.
off
Yeah.
first, but then
Oh, the Colonel North.
North, who of
But
course
I
got
didn't
his
like
just
The doctor. Also,
No,
I don't like
the
him.
doctor also needed to be dealt with, but I think, a lot of it too is his, I mean,
but I bet he never messed
25
with North
years old.
after he
He
saw
really
what
did
happened
it.
in North.
yeah. And I think also not just being wealthy,
Mhm.
educated, and young, and a man at that time, he was just so full of
horrible.
himself. A
Why
horrible,
don't you
horrible
think?
person.
I mean, and there was somebody, some of the judges or something,
Yeah.
Harvard educated men, and it just put them at the top of the list. Or some of them had
Yeah.
more sensibilities than that young guy did. But
Ugh.
I thought another person or character that, well, of course, I don't think she knew her well enough, but was Doctor, the woman that
Oh, I
showed
know.
up every
And
few
it's
months.
funny that they didn't talk about her
Mhm.
much, but I think being black and
Yeah, but
You know.
I just, yes, I think she was a medicine woman, maybe more so than I don't know. I guess she was a midwife too. She made her rather mysterious, and maybe because she didn't really know what exactly she did,
yeah,
or what you would go to her,
yeah.
since she only showed up every once in a while.
And my guess too is that people weren't supposed to go to her.
Mhm.
Well, when she was there
'Cause it seems
visiting
so
the one day, and
secretive.
somebody shows up. Well, it was one of her patients. Remember, I don't know which one it was.
Mhm.
One of the young women that I don't know, and she just made her. I don't know. I wish she had developed that character a little
Yeah.
bit more, but
Mhm.
Maybe there'll be a sequel.
Yeah.
maybe so.
Other people say they also really liked Ephraim. They're like,
Yeah.
Oh,
like
Ephraim.
yeah.
Oh,
He's a good
he
man.
was a
True.
kind,
He was
smart,
a good man. I
Yeah.
liked him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Rose Clearwater's, she had some really good responses, which was really good on all of hers. And she said, and three people that I talked to said this, that when at the end of the book, when Martha cut North,
When she took
Yes.
she screamed and cheered out loud.
I know, yes.
yeah.
Oh, dear.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I mean, what a perfect ending for
Yeah.
him.
Well,
I mean, not
sometimes that's.
ending, but
Well, remember
ending.
the movie The Burning Bed? It was about a woman who
With
was.
Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was terribly, terribly abused, and she just finally set their bed on fire.
Oh.
And burned
well, there you go.
There you go.
I mean, if nobody else will take care of you, what else do you do?
Yeah.
I remember back in the, 70s or 80s, there was some big national story, made national headlines, and it was in the headlines for months. That one gal that cut it off and threw it out the window. Remember
Yeah.
that? Everybody
What
probably
was the
remembers
name of that?
name.
There was, I mean,
Oh.
like it was in
a constant
it was in the
thing.
news all the time.
And anyway, was
Somebody out there will remember.
somebody out there will remember
Tell us.
who it was, but she cut it off. He was
Yeah.
cheating, right?
Yes.
Did he
was
die?
cheating. No, he did not die.
No.
So then she was probably charged with
She
what?
was charged. I think
Assault?
at least assault, if not attempted murder.
Yeah.
But it was a Bobbitt.
Yes. Yeah, it was
Bobbitt,
Bobbitt. I was
John
like,
and Lorena.
Bobbitt.
Lorena Bobbitt.
Yes.
I was
yeah.
gonna say there was
He
the
was cheating.
names.
She cut it off and threw it out the window. And
Oh dear.
there you go. So Bobbitt.
And a lot of them remember that.
Everybody knows. Yeah. I mean, it was like a big thing.
I first
And to think back in 1789.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. All right. Let's
While
see.
he was asleep.
While he was asleep.
What a way to wake up.
Oh man.
And there's a lot of blood supply there. So let me tell you, the
Ooh.
fact that he lived.
Oh,
I know.
yes,
In this book, the fact that he lived, I thought
I
that
know.
was.
true.
I thought, no, that's not possible. Who in the world could fix that up? Yes, they did.
Perhaps that doctor was a
That
little more
doctor.
talented than
Never
he
thought.
What was it Page? Dr. Page? Or what?
Page.
Yeah, he was the
Yeah.
young guy. Yeah.
Payne.
Didn't like
Page.
him. No, Dr. Payne.
Payne is
good.
your doctor.
Mm.
Okay, much of the novel focuses on the legal process And this was kind of a long answer, and a lot of you guys that everybody kind of thought the same thing, that it was an early country. We're kind of still figuring things out. So many problems with it. Number one, that it was all men, that a woman couldn't even testify without your husband there, and that not just men, but pompous idiot men that were in charge of everything. And then a couple people made the point that much of it now is the same.
Yep,
in terms of
Right.
We still may not get a fair trial for other reasons. There's lots of other things that come in, but fair trials and the judicial system, something that I think is an ongoing problem.
Yeah.
Any let's see, pipe in if there's other comments there. Sally and Sarah, what I thought was interesting, the reason that we put this down as a discussion question, how do you think how do you feel about how that was handled in the book? The reason that I asked that is because I thought that Martha got, for somebody who I think was so intelligent and so intuitive and perceptive about things, she totally got both of those girls wrong. Sally, right? Am I going to get the names right? Sally and Sarah. So the one that turned out to be such a little fibber and troublemaker that ended up being her daughter-in-law.
Well, yeah, that was Sally, wasn't it? But she also taught her to read. Is that the one that?
No, that was the other one that had the baby out of wedlock. And she was trying to set her up with her other son. And then as it turns out that
was Sally.
Did come back. That was Sally.
Yeah, that was Sally. Yeah. And is that the one then that she, the shopkeeper, the blind guy?
Yes.
She tried to, he wanted somebody to come and work, and he suggested, or she suggested to him that, why don't you hire this girl? And a girl, why would I do that? But she taught, isn't she the one that she taught to read? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, which I think because she kind of wanted her to be a daughter-in-law, and how interesting that it was the preacher's daughter who was little Miss Fibber. So, and kind of funny, but I even at that, because that was one of the things that I thought about for a long time afterwards, is I thought what grace she showed Sarah, because Sarah caused a lot of trouble.
Yes, she did.
And then for Sarah now to be a member of her family, it seems like that would be really difficult. And so I have to say that was really, I liked that Martha showed her such grace and that everything was okay.
Another place, the woman that was, basically the story was about the wife, the minister's wife. When she had that baby, she says, I don't want to, she said, throw it in the river. I wonder how often something like that actually happens. Does it still to this very day? Nowadays you can give a baby up for adoption. But she had the good sense to take that baby to somebody that she thought would take care of it.
That could nurse it right away.
I wonder, I suppose those sorts of things did happen.
I suppose so.
What else would happen? If Martha just said, even if she would have said, I'm not going to do that, that baby would have died anyway. Would have died from, I don't know. Yeah. What a interesting. Any comments on our people? Everybody's still good? All right. Several plot twists. How did you do? Did you see them all coming? I have to say, I kind of was undecided about who did it. I wasn't surprised. I had it narrowed down to one of those two boys. And most people said that, that they thought that it was Jonathan. Most people knew that it wasn't going to be
I thought it could have been the Indian tribe. For a minute, I thought because she was so good to them, and I thought maybe they found out something, and and then as the story went on, I thought, no, that wasn't them. But no, I didn't figure out
I didn't figure out I didn't honestly think it was her kids, just because of the way Jonathan and Cyrus was another one. Arrested too. I don't know. Of all the people that were always arrested, I thought they didn't do it. They didn't do it. Right. I never thought about the guy who actually jumped in the river. So I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't. I hadn't guessed it either. I was so concerned because there was lots of little things where things were twisted and weird things, and I didn't guess. I didn't guess that North was going to, after he sort of took off
Mhm.
Like he was
He
just
was
going to come back and be in power
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I thought you were running away with your tail between your legs.
And the thing that I can't figure out is, did everybody in that courtroom, did they know what happened to him?
Apparently not.
I know. How do you keep that a secret?
Apparently not.
I
don't
kept
know.
waiting too for his wife to come up with,
Yeah.
reveal some.
Yeah. Why didn't she
about
ever
him,
come forward?
She was never going to. There was no
No.
power. Women
Mhm.
had no power at all.
Well,
So
and I
if
guess
she did,
he
it
was
would be to
awful.
what end, right?
Yeah, he would just
Right.
deny it. Oh, she's drug
then
addled,
she-
and
yeah.
because she was
Yeah.
taking all this.
Yeah, there was
true.
no one was going to believe her.
Mhm.
The other thing that had me nervous that I thought, that I called incorrectly was Ephraim. When he was gone, I was fairly certain he was not coming back.
Me too.
I
and
was
she
afraid of that too.
feeling
Oh, see,
those-
look at my hair.
Yeah.
He made it back. Yeah, that was a bit of a nail biter for me, thinking, oh no, I can't
Mhm.
believe that.
Yeah, I thought, oh no, after all,
Yeah.
I not lose him. Oh no.
No,
And then the other one was the falcon.
That's interesting.
Because
Percy.
Percy, I thought, oh, poor Percy got eaten. Then all of a sudden, for Percy to show up at the last minute, hey, Percy survived too. So there was so many,
And there was a few
Things
people
that
that thought, maybe the Indians. And then when she wrote that Sam quickly got married and they moved in together, they thought that was weird. That it was a weird diary entry to add in there. And so that kind of made them keep thinking, oh, maybe one of the boys. But yeah, the Indians, a lot of people think, oh, yeah. For a hot second, they thought, oh, hey.
Mhm.
And then decided that wasn't right.
Yeah. Well, and, to not even know if it was Sam's baby or
Yeah.
the other
Mhm.
baby. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
All right,
that
good.
did come as a shock to me when
Yeah.
Sam finally told the story about
Yeah.
seeing him outside. Well, he attacked basically his. Were they engaged already? Or
Well,
planning?
I don't know if they were engaged or in love, but
Yeah, but yeah,
And then-
that
and what-
my mouth fell open when I read that.
and for Sam to marry her,
yes,
not knowing,
yes,
Mhm.
yeah. I thought,
I
now
mean-
that's brave.
good
And same
man.
with
Good
Ephraim.
man.
But same with Ephraim. I mean,
same with Ephraim.
yeah, Martha was that same
Right.
girl who
Mhm.
had this, problem, a same
Yeah.
thing that happened to her, and Ephraim didn't care.
Right.
Loved her for who she was, and
Mhm.
so it makes sense that the boys had that same.
And I don't know that
lovely
happens
lady.
very often.
Yeah,
I mean, even
even
now,
today.
even today.
Well, even today, people don't have to get married anymore.
Well, no, but the thought that a woman was,
Oh, I see what you mean.
It'll right less.
I'll bet you a lot of men like, I'm never touching you again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
of course, I'm very traumatic for a woman. Like, I don't want anybody to touch me. again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities, I think, from there that translate to here. You
Yeah.
know, even moms not wanting babies. But that's why there's so many of those
Mhm.
all over. You just take it to the fire station. No questions
Yeah,
asked,
yeah.
really. Or sadly, in really populated areas, you find them in garbage
Mhm.
cans and
Yeah.
Right.
all of those things. All of those things. It's funny how it still is happening today, just in a different
Different context.
context.
Yeah.
Mhm.
True.
Okay. We sort of started with how we rated it. I did that last time too. I wanted to know first, get it right out of the way. Did you love it? And I think the reason that I think it's important to do it first is because, your raw reaction before we talk about it,
Mhm.
a 2, a 3, a 5. But after we talk about, oh, you're right, there was interesting parts. No.
Yeah,
What was
exactly.
your,
Mhm.
what do you think about it? And it is true that not every book in book club that we like,
Oh.
there's some that I've had a hard time with. And,
Mhm.
and that's
Lori
okay.
brought up that when the soldier came home.
Oh, right.
So
yeah, that she was.
good.
Really
I didn't
happy
think that
for
was gonna
her, but
happen.
She really wanted the son to.
I felt bad for
I
Cyrus.
know.
Yeah,
And
I
in
did
the-
too.
Yeah.
And I feel bad that in true history, he never did marry. It said
Yeah.
that, that's so sad.
But, because of,
Yes.
even though he couldn't speak, everybody, just thought he had 4 strikes against him right off the bat just because
Yeah.
he couldn't speak. Nobody would realize that he
Mhm.
was intelligent. He,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
was, he could handle himself just fine. But no, he had a stigma against him that was never going to go away.
Yeah.
No matter how
Yeah.
hard he tried.
Yeah. All right, a couple other little comments here. There was somebody was talking about and I've lost the first page, but about memory and keeping a diary, that was something that it sort of sparked her to want to write stuff down more. And the quote in the book was that, baby got up. Hey, hi. Memory is a wicked thing that warps and twists, but paper and ink preserve the truth without emotion. And they read it back without partiality. And I think that's true. I mean, I tend to write, and I know you write a lot of stuff down, and it's good. So somebody else had mentioned that. The other thing that I want to mention, Rose Clearwater, again, she wrote on hers. There was one other little part that I wanted to share with everybody. She had her local bookstore order The Frozen River, and then when she picked it up, she found a used copy of The Island of the Blue Dolphins. Her daughter-in-law, who's a teacher, told her about betterworldbooks.com. And she was able to order 3 books. They should be here in a week, and it was free shipping, 20% off. Her total cost for all 3 books with shipping was only $16.
Wow, that's fantastic.
So betterworldbooks.com. Better World Books. She's from, Rose is from just south of Grants Pass.
Well, if somebody else is looking for a quick read, not really deep, but it's fun, is The Last Thing He Told Me.
The Last Thing He Told Me.
By Laura Dave. And it is, how do I describe this book? It's frankly about a wife who is happily married to a man who has a teenage daughter. And he sends... in the first few pages, she sends him off to work. A little girl in soccer uniform comes knocking at her door, and she says, "Here, this man gave me this and told me to deliver it to you." And all it says was, "Protect her." And a man then, and then the teenage daughter was handed a note by a stranger that said something about, "You'll find out the truth," or something, and the story goes on. So it's so intriguing. So there, he's disappeared. He doesn't show up anymore. So,
all right,
yeah,
I've added that. So we've been so for next month, we had the 4 books that were chosen, and those of you guys that have received the newsletter, you know that the one that that voted fairly, landslide, was Homecoming. The author is Australian, and then the other one was Diamond Eye. I have already read Diamond Eye, loved it. It is a true story about a sniper, a Russian sniper in World War II, a woman. Very, very good. I really, really liked it. Fast read for me. I loved that one. What else? I think I've read all of the others that we had. What was the other one? There was a mystery one.
I will open it and see.
I think that other mystery one was the one that I did not like.
When the Lights Go Out.
Oh,
that was the 3rd runner-up.
Yeah, When the Lights Go Out. I don't know. It was weird. It was kind of funny. You and I talked about it because on the back of it, I think that's what happens is sometimes on the books, you can read the cover.
A lot of people have read Diamond Eye. I agree with you.
Diamond Eye was really good. When the Lights Go Out, it said something about, and she doesn't even know what's true.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
It was kind of weird because you read the book and it kind of made a little bit of sense, and then you go through and it got super wackadoodle. But in the middle of the wackadoodle, I figured it out. It's like, oh, I know exactly what's happening here. And I was right. There's a reason that it's wackadoodle. But you had to, probably half of the book. So there's the beginning of the book, which is, pretty good. The middle of the book, wackadoodle city. And then the end of the book. So once she kind of, tells you why it was like this, I am going to say it was not worth it to me. Mm-hmm. It ended up being, at first I thought it was very, very good. And then it's like, what is happening? And then, I wished that there was some other kind of a plot twist or something at the end. But instead she just sort of, oh yeah, this is what happened. And then she kind of put it in a nice, neat little package. So, I probably wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but
which one was that?
You read it.
When the lights go
When the
out.
lights go out. Okay.
This piece of paper.
It
Pretty
was
nice cardstock.
it was weird to me. But anyway, and then what was the other one? I read the other one. I've read all of them. I am right now in the middle of, probably not in the middle yet. I'm still maybe a fourth of the way through The Homecoming. It is long. It is a big book. I'm going to say that a book like that, I already feel like it should have been 2 books.
Really? How long is it?
17 hours.
Oh, I'm a fantasy reader. That's nothing.
Well,
Sign me up.
here's the other thing I'm going to say. And I played a little bit this morning for someone. Here's the other thing I'm going to say. I'm so glad that we have that Aussie translation book. I've already written down many words that I've had to stop for a moment. And one of them was really weird. And I think it ended up meaning a beating. And boy, I wouldn't have gotten that one at all. But weird words in there. But what's happening is the person who's reading it is Australian. So she has this very
dialect.
thick accent.
Ooh.
It's like, wait, what did you say?
Like
Wait,
I
what
do
did
like
you say?
that.
It's very, very.
What are
very,
you talking about?
So how long is it without speeding it up then? If you read
I think
it
without
normal?
speeding it up, it's 17 hours.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I speed
Speeding
my
it up, it's not going to
but-
help. I do too, but it's not going to help.
Yeah, you're not
Because-
gonna.
But my whole thought is I won't be able to fast forward it because I have to.
You can't
hear
understand
it.
what she's saying. Yeah, she's using all of those Aussie words
quickly.
and with her accent, and I do not, much of the time, I do not know what she's
See,
talking
but you
about.
are not good with accent
I am not.
either.
I'm not.
She has a hard
Who's the
time with it.
homecoming by? I
Kate
don't
Morton.
have my
Kate Morton.
Kate Morton.
That's our next read.
I might have already ordered it. I don't remember because I think you told me that it.
I'm going to tell you one other thing about that is it was recommended by about 3 different people. And so that was why we put it on the list. And the other people that have said that they read it, they've liked it. So I trust that it's going to be great.
And nobody's
But-
afraid of your 17 hours. I'm not even honest.
Well, when you have to listen to
Fine.
an accent. Another book that, okay, speaking of which, we were reading, 30 Years on the Island of Michael Skellig or something like that, or Skellig Michael. And it's about a man. I don't know if he's American or what he is, but he was living, anyway. He married an Irish woman. They were living in Ireland, and there's this island called Skellig Michael, and you can look it up on YouTube. They show what it is, and basically it's just a great big huge rock, and had a monastery on it centuries ago. I had a horrible time reading that book, so I thought, okay, I'll get it Audible, because he talks about light and motion and water and birds and light.
Oh no!
And
That's the one that you let us listen
Yeah.
to? Okay, so here's what you need to know. On Audible, this guy's voice is this very dreamy.
It's the author who's
It's the author. Oh, and it was like, that is sleepy.
I made it
He
through
doesn't have
3/4,
this
and Frank, the rest of my
poetic.
book club just said, "No, this just wasn't our thing." Anyway, the same thing. It's
Yeah.
just listening to a person. I mean, he didn't have an unpleasant voice or anything, but he just talked about
cadence
motion
was so
and
Yeah.
light and
He was-
sky and rocks and
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you a couple of the others, and we are still voting. No, we're not. We have already voted
For
for
our next read.
Homecoming on the 15th,
So in 2 days,
which is coming up,
we will have the next 4 for us to vote on for the
for
read
you guys
after.
to vote on. So it's not too late. Get your
Suggestions
if there's I have quite a few, and I feel like I have some really good ones because of course we look for a young adult one. I have a couple of really good suggestions for that. We look for something that's a little bit more suspenseful, and then we do look for a historical fiction one. And then what was the other? And I think we have kind of a wild card. So we have quite a few that people have suggested, which is kind of good. And it's kind of funny. This one wasn't really a suggestion, but I think this was also from Elizabeth she was talking about the Heaven and Earth grocery store. And I think that's interesting. I just started reading that.
I heard that
also
was
in
a good one too.
Yeah.
I think Amy Vadrine also
the Heaven
put
and
that in for.
Oh, okay, good. So yeah, I just started reading that one. Very good. So anyway, so you still have some time to get those in. And then I think the other thing too is that we're sort of trying to stay away from the ones that are super popular right now,
They're hard
because
to get.
the people that are trying to do it all on Libby, if there's an 8-week wait,
We try to watch for those.
Yeah, we try to watch for that. So that I'll tell you, some of you guys that have suggested multiple times, because I think that Heaven and Earth grocery store, I think that one had an 8-week wait.
Yeah.
Which is why I've stopped what I am listening to on Audible, where I've purchased
Book.
and going back to that one so I can get that done. But anyway, so you still have some time to go ahead and send in some recommendations for that. It is kind of hard though, because when you look up what the book is about, that's never what it's really about.
Not a lot. Yeah.
It's I don't know who writes all those. All right. Any closing comments and thoughts? And we need to put more thought into our snacks. I was thinking, when I was thinking about it a couple of weeks ago, I thought, we need to come up with something, something period specific from the from 1789. And then I didn't think about it again. So I said,
jerky.
Dry meats. Yep.
yeah, something.
Well, they did talk about ham, when they went to the store, when she got locked in the storeroom,
Bacon and
all of the
potatoes.
bacon and hams hanging from the ceiling, and there's probably other things in there.
I was surprised that even back then, it's like, I don't feel like cooking, I'm going to go eat at the local pub. Wow, I mean, I thought that was, I was impressed by that.
Yeah.
She was just going to stop and eat the other gals cooking. I thought, that's good. I guess that makes sense. All right. Any other last minute?
No. Linda said that the homecoming is an 11-week wait, which is crazy because when we pick our voter ones, we look them up. We look them up on Audible. We look them up on Libby. We look them up to see if they're in most libraries, that kind of thing. And nothing was a wait.
Yeah.
For them, it's crazy now. There's a lot of us on
Interesting
Libby.
how it trends.
It's gotten,
How it's,
Yeah.
That's great.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think so.
Okay.
They all have
Anything
fun.
else? Everybody is all good? All right. And then we're going to save, we're not going to edit it at all. We'll save this, and
You guys can watch it
I
back.
don't think we have to edit anything out. Nobody cussed, right?
I think so. I think we're good.
Not that we ever have
That
to
shock
worry.
collar works really good. Thank you.
All right.
All right, ladies. So let's see. We'll have voting will go out in 2 days on the 15th. And then remember our live, and we will review the homecoming live on the second Monday of June. And thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Yeah, it was
fun. We'll see you Wednesday, if not before.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Second Monday of June just seems like it's right around the corner.
It does,
I know.